Hey, AP Language parents. So nice to meet you. My name is Matthew Patterson, and this is my 15th year at Banneker. It is my absolute honor to be your student's AP Language teacher, right? Let me explain my teaching philosophy. I believe in culturally relevant, standards-based instruction. Here's what that means, right? So for every class in Georgia, there's a group of standards basically saying you have to learn this, right? So we hit all that. But you might ask, hey, how do you do that? And here's how. I use culturally relevant instruction. Here's what this means, all right? Here's what it means. I try and make the stuff that we read as interesting as possible. That way they can look and say, that speaks to my life and the world we're living in now. To me, that's when, right, this type of occasional teacher where you're teaching on the occasion of the moment is the most effective way of teaching, because it causes them to not only change their pre-thought beliefs, right, but it also helps them sort of interpret the world around them, right, which is ultimately what we want from Banneker. We want these kids to be involved citizens, right, who help change the world for a better place. So, okay, that's how I teach. Now, AP language is real easy, okay? Basically what it is, it's a study of rhetoric, right? So it's the art of speaking, reading, and media, right? So we're going to deconstruct all those things, and we're going to say, hey, why is an argument effective, right? What does it work, and what are the elements that make an argument more effective and less effective in terms of logic, alliteration, etc., etc., etc. Now, you might ask yourself, what are you going to be doing for the first couple of weeks? And here's this, okay? For the first 6 weeks or so, we're going to be using what's happening in the United States right now, okay? So we're going to be reading authors like Bomani Jones, Tyler Tynes, right? People that are talking right now about athletes and social activism, okay? Now, here's the kind of things we're going to be talking about, right? We're going to talk about the college football, what's happening with that in terms of like them sort of unionizing and speaking as one collective voice and what that means. We're going to talk about the WNBA with Kelly Loeffler and Raphael Warnock, right, and the WNBA players, which I love, right? It's a really, really interesting idea. We're going to be talking about the women's soccer team and also like a person like LeBron James and whether or not he should use his voice for social activism. These are all the basic things we're going to be talking about, right? So it'll be really, really interesting. So that's the first unit. The second unit is going to be on the government. So we're going to be reading foundational documents, such as the Constitution, and seeing how they're interpreted right by the election, which is, I think, going to be really, really interesting. For the third unit, we'll end up talking about the new Jim Crow, which is pretty much structural racism and how you deconstruct that and end up like with a whole new sort of anti-racist universe, which is really, really interesting, right? Like the fact that all this stuff is happening makes a really, really interesting time to be a teacher, and quite frankly, I'm really, really excited for it. So I'm going to send these once a week. If you'd like to opt out, no problem. All you got to do is say, Pat, stop sending me these things. But this is just a way of keeping you get connected. Now, I promise you this, okay, if you're having a hard time getting with a teacher at Banneker High School, if you're having a hard time figuring out the online learning, if you're having a hard time just figuring out what your student is supposed to be doing in any of your other classes, all you got to do is reach out to me, right, and I will be your advocate. My email is patterson, as in Matthew, at fultonschools.org, okay? My phone number is also going to be attached. You send me a text message to get right back to you. Ultimately, it's my pleasure and honor to be your student's teacher. I love my job, and quite frankly, I can't wait to get started. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like I know everybody says that, right? But listen, if I can help at all, right, please let me. Have an excellent day, evening, whenever you're reading this, okay? See your student soon.